Because I'm stuck on the mindset that it's like, I was stuck on it being more of a wormhole thing than an abyssal thing. And I did call out that it was going to be an abyssal thing in previous videos. That was something that I did say. And I did say it was going to be more like abyssal than wormhole, but I still had a little bit of hope out there that I'll be able to actually live in this space, but it's not going to be something that's going to be possible, unfortunately. Hello and welcome to Sovereign RPG. I am Sovereign. I've just got out of bed. I was working the late shift last night, so I am absolutely melted right now. I woke up, opened my phone. I saw that there was a post regarding the Nihilist space, which is obviously the one thing that I'm excited for when it comes to Eve Echoes in the coming updates. Now, shock horror, I wasn't completely pleased with everything that was written here. There are some interesting things and some things that are okay, but it's mostly just like more questions are being raised than actually things being answered as per usual. And there is also some DMs made by Joseph to another player who actually contradict what is being said in this post. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the post and we're going to see what is actually up with what is going on. There's some background on discovering the Nihilist space, then accessing the Nihilist space, then the inner workings of the Nihilist space, and the chaotic nature of Nihilist space, or as we would like to call it, abyssal space. Tokyo is trying to talk to the two little rat dogs next door, so I keep on having to take a little break in between actually speaking while she growls at the door. Right, so let's go over what the actual post is saying. So after the supernova that occurred in YC116, that is the year, the date of when it actually happened, a Minmatar Thacker pilot discovered a tunnel in the Great Wildlands. After passing through the tunnel, the pilot found themselves in a special region. There were large quantities of rituals as well as permanent magnetic materials never before seen in New Eden. However, the region was surrounded by strong gamma ray bursts, stopping the Minmatar from claiming the treasured berry within. The secret was kept for 8 years, during which time the technology for containing the gamma ray bursts saw no real development. In a chance encounter, the Caldari Navy intercepted a vessel sailing between New Eden and the newly discovered region. On learning about this secret region, the Caldari Navy decided to head over and commandeer its resources, but were stopped in their tracks by gamma ray bursts. Since more people have learned about this secret, the existence of a new region was finally disclosed to the public. The factions wasted no time in launching their own mining projects in the new region. Laidai was the first to develop the gamma ray shielding technology that could create a safe area amidst the bursts, allowing mining ships to operate. With the advancement of technology for shielding gamma rays and traveling into the new region, Gravity Well, capsuleers have begun looking to get in on the action. Just a little bit of a lore background there. There's a lot talking about just about the mining aspect of the Nihilist space and not... There's a tiny bit about the actual PvE, as there will be like dead spaces inside, because who would want like to actually have a system in place where you could actually live inside of these things? It's not going to happen. It's not going to be like that. We're not going to be living in wormholes in Eve Echoes. It's just not going to happen. They've decided to go a different route. They've gone the abyssal route, and it's more like Albion Online, the PvP dungeon system that we'll go through in a second. So the accessing of the Nihilist space. Since the major factions all want to get their hands on these materials, many who have joined already started exploring the newly discovered space. There is a possibility of encountering hidden gravity wells in almost all star systems, in which these factions can use to travel to new rich ore deposits in Nihilist space. There's a nutty Spanish woman just singing at the top of her bloody lungs. I wish she was able to sing. It is winding me up. I could at least use her vocals as background music for the video, but instead I'm just going to hear her scream at the top of her lungs like a strangled fucking cat. Capsuleers can find these gravity wells by using the ore gravity well trap device and the dead space gravity well trap device. So there's going to be two different kinds. There's going to be a mining abyssal gravity well and a dead space gravity well. So you're going to have one or the other. So you'll be able to search for the dead spaces and you'll be able to search for the ore mining anomalies / dead spaces / wormholes / Albion Online / it's just like there's more questions here than there is actually answers. However, due to safety concerns and stabilized energy requirements, these two new devices must be installed inside of a capsuleer outpost in stable sovereign space. So that could be sovereign space, could be a mistranslation to only being in high sec and low sec for the actual faction empire space, or it's going to be sovereignty space, as in space that's only accessible, or it could just be that there's only being able to use these modules in spaces of corporations that they've already taken control over. These devices take a few days to activate, to a week to activate, after which the gravity well leading to the new region will be generated. A new gravity well will be required if you relocate. So you'll be able to keep that gravity well up as long as you can. But there is quite a long time between actually activating the modules to get that into that sort of gravity well. I guess this is to stop you from being constantly farming the same thing over and over again. You just go bang, right, I'm going to fill that one out, because there is only one. There's a little bit later on where there was some contradictions made in DMs, and the information on that part is what's confusing a lot of people. I had actually had an argument with someone in the Discord, because it literally says here one thing and then it says something else on another post. So let's go through the inner workings of Nihilus space. There will be a shielding device in the center of most Nihilus space anomalies. These devices usually create a safe area with a radius of several hundred kilometers. Certain expeditional devices are capable of creating much larger safe areas, but they are rare. So there's going to be certain different kinds. It's literally just going to be a couple of hundred. It's going to be one grid worth of content inside of the actual thing. So it's going to be like one mining belt, one dead space thing. You're just going to fly in there. There's not going to be much exploring to do inside of the Nihilus space, which is kind of disappointing to me. I really was looking forward to being able to like explore whole new systems and regions and being actually able to build in there, so I don't have to be part of the whole entire political bullshit that is nullsec. Ships are not allowed to warp in these safe areas and must carry out operations within them. Should any ships stray outside of the safe area, its autopilot system will automatically engage to navigate the ship back inside to prevent the fatal effects of the gamma ray bursts. So like it's basically just gonna have a wall around the entire thing, so if you go over it, it's just gonna pop you back in. I mean, you're not gonna die, which should be like that should be a thing. If you go AFK and you start autoing to one direction inside of the Nihilus space, you should get blown up. I mean, this gamma ray burst, you should get melted. This woman is getting on my tits. So the energy here is particularly chaotic, meaning ships' capacitor recharge rates will differ in different areas. Keeping an eye on your ship's power core is especially important here. This is straight from EVE Online. The electrical style abyssal sites, etc., that you go into using the different items in EVE Online puts you in a system, and the electrical one gives you higher, faster capacitor recharge. So it gives you minus 50% capacitor recharge, for example. So they have taken that aspect from EVE Online. Moving on to the chaotic nature of Nihilus space. Between the multiple instances of Nihilus space connected by gravity wells, strange interference may occur after a gravity well has been successfully constructed, causing it to split into two or more parts. This is because gravity wells leading to New Eden always maintain a balance of entropy. The reason behind this remains a mystery up to this day. Some theologians believe there are hidden forces in this part of the universe. Triglavians. We're gonna, I guess they're sort of setting up for a Triglavian thing here, even though they said that will never be part of the game. When mining in Nihilus space generated by Capsulator outposts, it's necessary to beware of other explorers from other parts of New Eden. Fortunately, the Nihilus space anomaly directly connected to the gravity well is stable and safe from outsiders. Oh, fucking Nora. Shut up, woman. I actually had to shut the door because this, like, I'm literally going to stick my head out the window and tell her to shut her bloody mouth. So it goes on to say, when mining in Nihilus space generated by Capsulator outposts, it's necessary to beware of other explorers from other parts of New Eden. Fortunately, the Nihilus space anomaly directly connected to the gravity well is stable and safe from outsiders. So remember this part. It says here, the first initial actual gravity well you're opening up is safe from outsiders. So you'll be safe to go in there and mine. You'll be safe to go in there and do the dead space. There'll be no players going in. That's what that says to me. If it says something different to anyone else, then you're wrong. It literally says that. Like, there's no interpretation to that, and it will double up with another sentence that comes a little bit later. According to publicly acknowledged data, the safe part of the region contains 30 to 35% of the resources. To require more, capsulists have to venture into more dangerous parts of the region, which could mean you end up losing everything because there will be PvP in those sections. So you'll have a smaller amount of resources in that first initial hole, and then when you go into deeper parts of the Nihilus space, you'll be able to get more resources at a higher cost to yourself, a risk involved. When a ship enters a gravity well, there will be numerous gravity wells connected to other Nihilus space. After mining the resources in the first area, capsulists can choose to either further explore other areas via the gravity wells or simply return with what they have gathered. No one will laugh at those who die in battle, but there are more opportunities to be had if you stay alive. Obviously, like, I mean, shit, if you die, you die. You're just in a pod and you're just stuck there. Therefore, after mining the plentiful resources in areas which are exclusive to them, that's saying that that first initial Nihilus space is closed off to everyone else and it is safe for those who first go in there. Then you choose to go in deeper, much like Albion Online with their PvP dungeons. I can't remember what they're called now. They're banished something or other. Maybe you can let me know down below what they're called if you do remember. It's just gone out of my head right now. But you go in, the initial dungeon is actually free of PvP, and then the further you go in, the deeper and deeper, the more chance you'll run into other players. This could be interesting from a PvP standpoint. I'll be quite interested to give this a go. This is more like wormhole space than it is abyssal space. There are abyssal, like, sort of arenas inside of EVE Online, which is quite similar to this. I've got 2 doors closed and the window closed. I can still hear her screaming. Please note that most of the dangers in Nihilus space are still unknown to us. Behind every gravity well, there is both wealth and risk, or perhaps even a fleet ready to hunt capsuleers. Be safe out there. So there may be some mechanics, or are they just talking about PvP and the players actually getting in there and doing that stuff? So let's have a look at the resources in Nihilus space. Most Nihilus space anomalies will contain numerous deposits of rich ores. There may also exist in New Eden in small quantities, but are far more abundant in Nihilus space. This is basically they're changing the condensed belts into rich ores, which will be inside an Nihilus space. You'll be able to get more ore per yield because it's sort of compressed, so you'll have a larger amount and you'll be able to break that down into more minerals. So it's going to be quite good for those industry guys out there if there's any left. As it says here, where rich ore contains 10 times the minerals of regular ore, so you get 10 times the amount when you do reprocess that if you have the right skills. Many mining practitioners have been frantically traveling to these areas to amass wealth after learning of this news. Some parts of Nihilus space are occupied by pirates. They have also constructed dead space strongholds, so there's going to be a new dead space in there, and these areas have permanent magnetic materials which can be used to enhance dead space modules. For reverse engineering, capsuleers can reverse engineer permanent magnetic materials and acquire stronger dead space modules which are classified by their strength into B, A, and X models. These dead space modules will offer capsuleers a new goal within their journey in New Eden. I don't know whether they're going to do it in the sort of sticking with the abyssal side of things and have it be randomized the amount you get, or if they're going to just be like able to upgrade from C types to B types to A types to X types depending on which ones you get. That's something that I won't know until it actually releases and we can find out more information on that. Now, as you can see, it does say in here multiple times in multiple different ways. There can't be too many bloody translation errors. There can't be any of these issues. It is pretty cut and dry, pretty simple that first initial gravity well will be your own, and maybe you'll be able to have access from, if you have like set up your capsule outpost to have your corpse access to it or alliance access to it, then those people can go inside with you. Or it's just going to be a solo mechanic for that initial first one. It could be more of a solo mechanic or it could be more of a group mechanic. It depends how they go. There's not enough information there to show that. What it does show in here is that initial one will not have any PvP. Now, regardless of what anyone's saying and all kinds of shit that they're saying in the Discord, but this is said because it literally says more than one time in that entire post that it is going to be no PvP in that first one. It's going to be your own exclusive space that you can mine in with 30 to 35% of the minerals. Or ore. I should have said ore. I just get a little bit angry and I one track mind in one direction. Now, Joseph did DM someone and said some bugnit on there. Let me just get that message up. Where he did say the module can only be activated in a system which has sovereignty. An entry point is then created near the outpost in which anyone who finds it can enter. According to the actual post itself, this is not possible, but Joseph found it in his infinite wisdom to be able to contradict everything that's been said in this post and say that it's something else. So I'm going to take that with a pinch of salt. I'm going to go with what the actual post says in multiple different ways because it can't be a translation error 3 or 4 times on the same subject. So I'm just going to go with that. I'm going to chalk it up to Aguila renaming, or the Vexor being called a Dominix, or the Providence being called a Bloody, or mixing up the freighter names, which was another thing. I guess we're going to have to see how it goes. Now I'm going to get ready for work, my full-time job, which is amazing. If you'd like to help the channel out, remember to like and sub the video if you do enjoy it. Fly safe and avoid local chat scams. I want to say a huge thank you to all my patrons. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to continue doing what I'm doing. If you'd like to find out how to become a patron and how to get early access to my content, please look down in the description. Fly safe and avoid local chat scams.